Okay, so I just realized I totally forgot to do some breathing with you guys when I started the podcast, which I'm super committed to. And just being in the present moment and just absolute joy with this one, my childhood BFF and still BFF, Eve Margol. So forgive me, dear friends and listeners. So one of the ways Eve and I have gotten to work together in the last few years is she has helped me and Yogi News Yoga for Youth develop our training program, Yoga for Youth with special needs in different circumstances, because I'm really a believer that even when a perhaps diagnosis is not present, I know for me that basically humans at some time or another have a special need or a certain circumstance that's generating their physical sensation, their thoughts, their feelings in a way that they need some extra tools and support. And hey, like part of the OHMazing Way podcast and the education we're doing and Eve is doing is so no matter what shows up in your life, you are ready and you just have those tools ready. So Eve is going to share with us a couple of her tools that she uses that are just totally tried and true.
Absolutely, absolutely. Two of my favorite things. One is when I'm talking to kiddos in the classroom, and you could even do it with an adult, but they may look at you a little strange, but is basically saying, you know, lots of kids, they generally don't look at you. So I always use the word terminology, you know, thank you for thinking of me because I'm thinking of you right now. You know, your eyes are looking, your ears are listening, your heart is understanding me and respecting me. And so it's called whole body listening. So I find that whole concept is really important. And I always make sure that I thank somebody for giving me the time and thinking of me with their body, which, you know, their body is actually turned towards me. So that's, I think, is really important to remember.
Yeah. So Eve, if I'm in your class and I'm like over like not paying attention, like what are you going to say to me?
I'll say, Beth, eyes on me, please, whole body listening. Can you think of me? Beth, are you thinking of me? Thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate it. You don't have to keep your eyes on me, but as long as your body is turned towards me and your hands are quiet and your ears are listening, that's what I appreciate. So thanks, Beth.
Love that. I love that because as an educator, as someone I used to be head of a school, like the number of times, I mean, what kind of language do we often hear in a classroom? It's not quite that respectful.
Right. Look at me, you know, turn around.
Hey, right?
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly. And the other favorite thing is what's the group plan, or is your body in the group? But lots of times when kids are transitioning from one thing to another, whether it's sitting on the carpet for morning meeting and then let's say getting ready to go out to the playground, and they're all, you know, going together and somebody elbows somebody, somebody trips on somebody, and then the tears flow. He pushed me, she did this. So we kind of make an effort and we talk about, even when we're cleaning up for play, all right, let's make a group plan. It's time to clean up. So Legos, what's your plan? Are you going to kick down the Legos or are you going to take them down one at a time? Discuss how you're going to do it and come up with a plan. Or if everybody's being really quiet and one kid is coming in late in the morning, are you going to barrel in and say, I'm here? Or are you going to look at the group plan and realize, they're really quiet right now. They're in morning meetings, so I'm going to walk in quietly because that's what the group is doing. They're being really quiet. So it really teaches those blurters, you know, not to blurt out, because right now we're talking quietly. So that's what the group is doing. That's our plan. So how are you going to stay with that plan? Or, you know, the cleaning up, that one kid who wants to knock down the towers and then that other kid cries, he knocked down my tower when this child wanted to take it down one at a time. So it's, what's your plan? What's the group plan? So
I love that. And yeah, and like what I also can see with that, as a child grows up with that process in mind, like how important that is, no matter what you're studying in school or what career you have, right? Like even Jordan, who's in college, we just had a conversation where she said, oh, I have so much work to do this week. And I said, well, do you have a structure? She's like, a what? Like a plan. So you know when you're going to do what, including take care of yourself.
Right.
And she was like, wow, what a great idea. Score! But like,
yeah, there you go.
Great. So, but like, but also to start that conversation. And this is something I've learned, and I know, Eve, you could spend all day talking about this, to start those conversations when they're really young, like 2, 3, 4 years old.
Sorry. My dog, sorry. Okay,
if you're watching, Eve just got like loved on by her sweet pup.
Oh God, they're like, mommy dinner.
That's right, that's right. Great. Well, look, those are great tools. So we've got whole body listening, and then the group plan. And now, Eve, tell us about what you are up to with LinkEducation Resources and what that looks like, how we can get connected with you, and tell us about how that got started.
So LinkEducation Resources actually started through Yogini's Yoga for Youth, which I don't think you realized that until I told you. So raise the roof for that. Basically, I was teaching yoga at a childcare facility. And I noticed when we were trying to get the kids on the mat, there were 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, who were rolling all over the place, couldn't stay focused, couldn't do the Yoginyo song and all those kinds of things. And the teacher, God bless her, was just amazing and had the patience of a saint and was trying so hard to get the kids on the mat. And I said, no, you don't need to force them. They can do it standing, it's fine. And then I went over later and I said, do you have a fidget box? And she looked at me and she's like, what? What's a fidget box? And that just started a whole conversation on, hey, do you need some support on learning how to work with kids that are too young to be diagnosed? And just some strategies. And the director was like, absolutely, please, let's do that. And I did my first professional development on transitions, yoga moves, breaths. The hat hand is probably the most common thing that I teach everybody by saying the words eyes up, hands up, and they put their hands on their head and they take a breath. Sorry, this is, so anyway, so through that, I started to build, I've always been a tutor, but I started to build LinkEducation Resources because we wanted to link how important it is for educators and parents to understand how to work with children. And there's so much support for kids, but who's supporting the educators and the child care centers? That these are wonderful people that are taking their time to work with kids, and they may not have that education, but somebody needs to help. And that's where LinkEducation came in. So we basically travel around to different daycare facilities, preschools, private schools, and we do trainings on executive functioning, emotional regulation, mindfulness now, lots of different professional developments, and most recently non-medicated ADHD strategies. I also talk with parents on the phone and give them strategies, because you know what? I'm not going to charge them an arm and a leg to give them some suggestions when they're just at their wit's end or they don't know how to enter an IEP or a 504 meeting. So I kind of calm them down and give them some strategies on how to do those things. So we're building this incredible company, and I have amazing tutors, and it's just exciting. And then I also work part-time with Matan Kids, who it's an organization that believes that this is a Jewish organization that believes every Jewish child deserves a Jewish education, and a lot of these private schools don't have the experience of working with kids with special needs. So I go and I travel and I talk about differentiated instruction and emotional regulation and how educators can work with these kids. So it's great. It's a huge passion of mine now, huge passion. And I believe it started with you.
Aww, look at that love. So much love.
I know.
Right? If that's not like yoga on and off the mat, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. So for those of you listening and watching, in the summary and the show notes, as always, you'll be able to find out how you can connect with Eve through email, her website, and really you're looking to set up a call or consultation with her. And Eve, I would love to have you come back on maybe at least two more occasions. You could just be like a regular.
Okay.
One of them is I would love to hear more about executive functioning and your experiences with that. And in like one sentence, could you share what executive functioning is?
Well, executive functioning is basically the organization, keeping your brain organized, and how to self-talk yourself through, for instance, your daughter, with all the work for the end of the year, how does she get through her day? And self-talking is extremely important. Okay, first I'm going to do this, second I'm going to do this. And there's a strategy that I will teach you later called Get Ready, Do Done. And that will help anybody who's doing these big projects. But it's about organizing your brain and your body, your space, to get the things done that you need to get done, and taking a breath and understanding that, you can do this. Everybody can do this.
Awesome. And that, those are, and even if you're someone who doesn't have executive functioning disorder, I think in terms of how tangential brains, I know my brain can be, those are skills that are so important today when there's so many distractions. So I definitely want you to come back and talk more about that. And then my other big sister, Anne, who's your literal big sister. So Anne and Eve, just amazing human beings. And again, Eve referenced at the beginning of this conversation that Anne also has a child with special needs. And Anne and Eve are getting ready to launch their own podcast. And Anne is head of a school in Florida. Mm-hmm. And so, and I know right now the title is like a secret under wraps. Anything you are willing to share about that as like a big teaser?
Well, first we're going to tell the story about us and how the parallels of having kids with special needs and the differences between our life and what happened. And we are going to definitely be talking about IEPs, 504s, executive functioning, how to get through the day with your kiddo, how to get through these schools, talking to your teachers, really supporting, once again, parents out there to understand that you have a voice and you're going to speak your voice, and we're going to be there to support you and help you. So we have probably 10 episodes that are already planned. But first is the story of the two of us. And of course, my sister said, oh my gosh, we have to get Beth on there too. So that's going to be really fun as well. Actually, we're squeezing that in probably earlier than the other things. So it's going to be really incredible. And we're super excited to bring this to everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely, and thank you for wanting to have me on there. I literally actually remember Anne helping to teach me how to read in addition to you. So really,
she was probably a little bit meaner. I was nicer.
Totally. Just kidding. Look, so Eve, it has been, as always, amazing to be with you, and I love you and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again sometime, maybe this summer. Thank you for your generosity in being here and with us, and anyone listening and watching. If you have questions, comments, please make sure you can post those within the YouTube page, the OHMazing Way YouTube channel. Or on any of our online formats, and Eve and I will be looking out for them, and we will absolutely respond and answer. Absolutely. So Eve, thank you, and can't wait to have you back another time. And everyone, just have a great day, and remember, be amazing.
Bye.